Breaking news, and by breaking, we mean record-breaking traffic here on the West Coast. We are in the thick of gridlock, the peak of rush hour on this Thanksgiving Eve. KNBC chopper over that infamous Los Angeles traffic. It is bumper to bumper everywhere you look. AAA expecting upwards of 80 million Americans planning to travel for the holiday weekend. In New York City, the balloons and floats are ready to roll for the 98th Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. It is expected to be a soggy one with rain on the way. A holiday storm has already dumped snow in the Rockies, triggering flight delays out of Denver. That snow turning to rain in places like Kansas City and St. Louis before heading east. Bill Cairns leading us off tonight. Hey there, Bill.
Gadi, all eyes will be on the Northeast as we go throughout our Thanksgiving Day. Unfortunately, we are going to have some locations where it's going to be very difficult to get to your destinations because of heavy, wet snow. That's where we have winter storm warnings already up. Portions of New York State, southern Adirondacks especially, as we go through about the southern two-thirds of Vermont, the middle section here of New Hampshire, and then a good chunk of the northern two-thirds of Maine, all under winter storm warnings. And for these areas, winter storm warnings typically mean at least 6 inches to 12 inches. And some of the higher elevations will get even more than that. So a pretty considerable snowstorm on Thanksgiving. Areas in white here is where we're under winter weather advisories. This usually means at least a plowable snow, slippery roads, and that includes areas of central New York, Moniata, all the way down to Binghamton to Williamsport, Pennsylvania, where they play the Little League World Series, and also Concord, New Hampshire, and Augusta, Maine, the capital there. So here's how it's going to play out. So tonight we're going to watch this area of rain in the Ohio Valley, where it's been plenty warm, just plain old rain. Not fun driving on the Interstate 70, but tonight it moves into colder air. By the time we wake up at 9 a.m., the ground will be covered here from Buffalo to Utica to Syracuse, Rochester included in that too. I'm sure the roads will be treated, so they'll probably be okay. They're really good at that, the New York State Thruway in this section. But if you're traveling, especially any higher elevations early in the day, some of those roads are going to be very difficult. As far as rain goes, very heavy, steady rain. New York City all the way down to Philadelphia. This is sped up a little bit. It's earlier now, so that's good. You know, by the time we get to the afternoon and evening for it's time for dinner, a lot of that rain will be over. There's 5 p.m. It's not even raining in Connecticut anymore. Boston, the rain is ending, but that northern comma head here, that bend back, that's where that snow is still flying at 5 p.m., especially in Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. So how much snow are we talking about? As we mentioned, it's definitely going to be a heavy, wet, plowable snow, and unfortunately, we still have a few leaves on the tree in isolated spots, and we're going to see isolated power outages out of this. You know, even just the beginning of winter, trees get weak, or, you know, some are dying or died over the summer. They get a lot of weight on them. They just can't support this heavy, wet snow. So I have power outages on Thanksgiving days. About as bad as it gets, so just be prepared just in case that happens. So Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, the rest of the country looks fine. The rain in the southeast will be early, and then it's going to be exiting. And as far as Friday goes, lake effect snow squalls, but the rest of the country is quiet. Great for travel, great for shopping too, but it will be cold. That cold air is going to be persistent over the next at least 5 to 6 days from the northern plains through the weekend all the way to the East Coast. Everyone has said that Sunday is an extremely busy travel day, especially for the roads and the airports. No problems. You know, unless you're downwind of the lakes, everybody else should be just fine. And it is going to be a significant shot of cold air, too. I mean, we're going to be talking some areas 10 to 20 degrees colder than they should be. And when that cold air, Gadi, goes over the warm water of the Great Lakes, we will see some areas getting potentially, that's 24 inches of snow in a couple of those favored spots. So that'll be a story for us towards the end of the weekend. Hope you have a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving to you, too. Thank you, Bill. Let's bring in NBC News correspondent Priscilla Thompson, who is live for us out at Houston Hobby International Airport. Priscilla, big travel hub. What's it looking like out there right now?
Yeah, Gadi. So here in Houston, we are not seeing any of that snow and the rain that other folks are beginning to see around the country. So flights have been taken off just fine. The TSA lines have been moving quickly here. It is the holidays, so there are lines, but folks are getting through pretty quickly here. But of course, that is not the case in other places across the country. We've seen about 38 flight cancellations today across the country, which is pretty good, but more than 3,500 delays. And a lot of those delays are happening on the East Coast. Coast, specifically at the airport in Newark. That is a United hub, and they are dealing with a shortage of those air traffic control workers. And so they had a more than an hour-and-a-half ground delay earlier today. Overnight, they had a ground stop that lasted past midnight. So United says that that shortage is impacting about 28,000 customers a day, especially during this busy holiday travel season. And so we've seen the FAA trying to redirect some of that traffic control to Philadelphia to try to clear up some of that. And of course, the other thing is the weather. Denver also saw a lot of delays today. They got a lot of snow today. And so as we head into the next couple of days, there are other airport hubs that are at risk, including Kansas City, St. Louis, Nashville, even Dallas, which could see some high wind gusts. But again, the FAA opening up military airspace to try to get folks where they're going so that they can at least make it for the Thanksgiving holiday and hunker down if they need to get past the weather before they make it back home. Gadi?
Yeah, and get past all that tryptophan. And looking ahead to after that tryptophan wears off, where is the worst travel nightmare going to happen? When is it going to hit its peak?
Yeah, so if folks are flying, Sunday is going to be your busiest day. If you have booked your return flight for that day, just brace yourself for the crowds and all the things at the airport. Now, drivers, those on the road, are going to have some more options. So I'll start with the worst times for them going back, and that is going to be Friday morning, Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon, and basically all day Monday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. There are going to be issues. But your best options on the flip side are going to be Friday afternoon, Saturday morning, Sunday morning, or Monday, either before 8 a.m. or after 7 p.m. So you have some options there. And I will say, good news for the drivers, the national average for gas is at 307 right now. I know it's probably not that in California, but nationally 307.
Yeah,
so even if folks are sitting in traffic, I know in Texas it's like 2 something. So, you know, I feel for the Californians, but the rest of the country, we're doing all right on gas. Gadi?
Yeah, just rubbing it in from there in Texas. Priscilla, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving. And it looks like Sean Diddy Combs is going to be staying in lockup for the holidays after a judge denied his 3rd attempt at bail earlier tonight. And the reason? The judge seems to think if Diddy was released before his trial, there is no way he could assure the safety of the community. For more on that, we're going to bring in NBC News legal analyst Danny Savalos. Danny, what led to this judge's decision here?
It's the Bail Reform Act. It's actually a pretty mechanical analysis. The bottom line is that for the most part, people are presumed to get bail in federal cases, but some crimes are considered bad enough that that presumption flips, and then the defendant has to prove 2 things. Both that he will attend trial, or 2, that he is not a danger to the community. And because this is a presumption case, the judge in this case concluded that Diddy, based on all of these facts, was that no set of conditions that would allow him out would ensure the safety of the community. And that's based on his efforts, his engaging in alleged self-help, trying to reach out to witnesses supposedly, and trying to basically try to work the angles both before he was indicted and after he was indicted.
Yeah, so many times we see these big name celebrities get the chance to post bail. Is what you just said, is that and the evidence against him what's kind of hurting him here?
Look, Combs has a lot of bad evidence against him. And the Bail Reform Act is something that, generally speaking, it's a pretty straightforward test. And you can see that in the language you quoted in the judge's decision. No condition or set of conditions will reasonably assure the safety of the community. That is literally from the language of the Bail Reform Act. That's the analysis every judge has to make when considering whether or not to grant bail. There it is. You see the language right there. That is ripped straight from the text of the Bail Reform Act. That is the formula that every federal judge uses in deciding whether or not a defendant gets bail. Now, Diddy can move for bail 4 times, 5 times, 11 times. The analysis will still be exactly the same. There may be changed circumstances. And by the way, most of the time that inures to the detriment of the defendant, because in Diddy's case, he may be getting himself in more trouble behind bars. The government knows that. The government finds out, and they will use that in their argument to keep him in custody.
Danny Savalos, Thank you. And some breaking news today. The Federal Trade Commission has launched a wide-ranging investigation into the practices of tech giant Microsoft. The FTC sent a letter to Microsoft demanding it hand over information to help in that investigation, and specifically info on cloud computing, AI, and cybersecurity products. Both the FTC and the tech company have declined to comment. Microsoft has faced antitrust concerns before, as recently as its acquisition of video game publisher Activision Blizzard, but the company has often avoided U.S. antitrust regulators up until now. And over in the Middle East, a ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah has now officially gone into effect. And while the people of Lebanon celebrate that news, they seem a little nervous, too, returning to their homes, hoping that this truce will hold through its first full night. The fighting in Lebanon has killed more than 3,500 people and displaced more than 1 million others. NBC's Matt Bradley has more from Beirut.
24 hours after the ceasefire deal, there are still bullets over Beirut, but this is celebratory gunfire. Marking the end of nearly 14 months of fighting between Hezbollah and Israel that killed thousands of Lebanese citizens, and according to Lebanese officials, displaced more than 1 million. Going back home is the nicest feeling, said this woman from the eastern Bekaa Valley. We're returning with our dignity back to our homes. But for others, home appears to have all but vanished. Mahmoud Al-Aouni says his destroyed house is the only place he has to live. The deal ends a conflict that started after the October 7th Hamas terror attacks, when Iranian-backed Hezbollah started firing rockets into northern Israel, killing dozens and displacing tens of thousands. During months of fighting, Israel killed Hezbollah's leader and top deputies. A top U.S. negotiator speaking to NBC's Andrea Mitchell.
Look, the Lebanese people actually never wanted this conflict. They didn't ask for it. Hezbollah forced it on them.
But some Hezbollah supporters insisting peace means victory.
I asked him what he thought about the ceasefire. He said, what ceasefire? This is a victory. He says that Hezbollah definitely was victorious against the Israelis.
A big part of this deal is that both sides reserve the right to respond in self-defense. And Israel's prime minister has made it clear that Israel will consider military action if the terms of the deal aren't met.
Matt Bradley, thanks. Now to a big prisoner swap to tell you about tonight after Biden apparently talked to China's leader Xi Jinping last month in Peru. 3 Americans who had been in China for years have been released in exchange for prisoners that have been held by the United States. Let's bring in NBC's Janice Mackey-Frayer to tell us more. Janice, so what are the details here? Who's getting exchanged and when is this happening?
Gadi, this came together after months of negotiations between U.S. officials and China, reaching the highest level with President Biden and Xi Jinping. When we spoke with the U.S. ambassador here last month, he told us that the two sides were talking. Chinese officials are unlikely to say much even now, but obviously this is a huge thrill for the families of Mark Swidan in jail since 2012, Kai Li since 2016, John Lung jailed for life last year. Their health has been a big concern as they finally head home. The White House saying, quote, soon they will return and be reunited with their families for the first time in many years. Thanks to this administration's efforts and diplomacy with the PRC, all the wrongfully detained Americans in the PRC are home. In return, the U.S. released 2 Chinese nationals, an official telling us that one of them is Xu Yanjun, a convicted Chinese spy who prosecutors linked to China's state security. And a check of the Bureau of Prisons website shows he is no longer in BOP custody despite a 2035 release date. Gadi?
And Janice, it seems like this was a little bit more low-key than what we saw with Russia and those prisoners who were exchanged. Is that on purpose, or are people just not paying attention to the significance here?
That's a good point. Prisoner swaps with China are rare. Another wrongfully detained American, David Lin, was released in September. And that was a total surprise after being in prison here for 18 years. And at that point, it seemed like the wheels were in motion to get other wrongfully detained Americans out before President Biden left office. There are a lot of unknowns about the U.S.-China relationship and where it could be heading with the new administration, and whether the release of Americans here would be a priority as new channels of communication were being established. There are still at least 200 Americans detained in Chinese prisons right now, according to rights groups, most of them on non-political charges like drug offenses or under exit bans. And those are people who have legal cases against them here, and they can't leave the country. And it's why the U.S. had a level 3 travel advisory warning people against traveling to China. But yesterday, the same day as this prisoner swap, the U.S. adjusted that to level 2. Beijing has complained for years that level 3 was too harsh. So the move puts China on par with countries like France and Germany. So this is a big deal for Chinese officials who are trying to win back tourists and businesses in order to prop up the economy.
A big deal coming at the end of the Biden administration. Janice Mackey-Frayer, thanks so much. And as we head to the end of the week, you know what? Black Fridays are usually good for two things, right? You got leftovers, you got scoring some major deals. But this year, getting those deals might be as tough as, I don't know, squeezing into your pre-turkey pants, because Amazon workers in more than 20 countries are planning a global day of resistance. NBC's Brian Chung explains.
Well, hey there, Gadi. This could be a big deal with a potential labor strike looming over what would be Amazon's biggest holiday shopping weekend of the year. That is, of course, Black Friday into Cyber Monday. This is a group based in Switzerland called UNI Global, also working with Progressive International to organize what they call an Make Amazon Pay strike, which would stretch not just across the United States, but across over 20 countries around the world, including the United Kingdom. They're saying that this is because of unfair pay. They want better working conditions, and they also say that there are issues with environmental degradation over at Amazon. Now, again, we don't know what the impact of this will be or if it will choke up your ability to receive your packages on time. For what it's worth, this group has organized Make Amazon Pay strikes before in the past, including over the Black Friday and Cyber Monday weekend last year. That didn't make a dent into Amazon's performance over that weekend because they sold 1 billion items over that time. And they say that shoppers saved nearly 70% more than the same period in 2022, despite those labor threats. Now, again, we don't know if the scale of that is going to be substantially larger this year. But the big question here is, of course, with this big holiday shopping season, can Amazon hit the same numbers? This does remain an open question, and we'll have to see once we get to Friday. Gadi.
Brian Chung, thank you. And the holiday season is here, and as great as family gatherings can be, there's always someone who doesn't wash their hands and comes with a whole bunch of germs, which is ironically, sorry to say, usually me and the family. Sorry, guys, I'm working on it, especially after seeing this next story that we're going to show you where the CDC is saying there are 2 serious illnesses we should all be on the lookout for. NBC's Stephanie Gosk has that story.
As the winter approaches, it's a sound everyone braces for. This year, the CDC says 2 serious respiratory illnesses are on the rise. Whooping cough cases are up 5-fold compared to a year ago. Walking pneumonia up 450% since the spring.
My daughter actually got sick in September.
Dr. Anita McSwain's daughter recovered from walking pneumonia, but then her mom got sick.
I took a course of 2 antibiotics, actually, and steroids, and initially improved, but then got worse again.
And that was kind of, for you, the red flag that it was time to go to the hospital.
Right, exactly.
At Virginia's Inova Hospital, there has been a noticeable increase.
We're seeing more cases and more severe cases where folks are actually coming into the hospital, they're coming into our clinic with more wheezing, more shortness of breath.
As for whooping cough, multiple states have seen spikes, according to the CDC.
I'm just wondering why we had this whooping cough.
Patients start with normal cold-like symptoms and then often develop violent coughing, which can last for weeks and lead to hospitalization. Doctors say people should be vigilant when they develop a persistent cough.
Hand washing and staying home when you're sick are always important, but certainly this year it's something to really think about.
Familiar but still important advice to stay healthy this holiday season. Stephanie Gosk, NBC News.
Hey, welcome back. And here are some of the headlines we're watching tonight. Some of President-elect Trump's cabinet picks were targeted with bomb threats and swatting. And that includes Congresswoman Elise Stefanik and former Congressman Lee Zeldin, even former Attorney General pick Matt Gaetz. Now, senior law enforcement officials tell NBC News that the threats were not credible and seemed to have come over social media. The FBI is now investigating. And a Massachusetts man previously serving life in prison is now free. Now, this comes after a jury in the state ruled he was innocent of the 1986 murder he was found guilty of committing. That new decision came after evidence of some false testimony and new DNA evidence popped up. And get this, along with the overturned conviction, he was also awarded $13 million. But state law knocks the award down to a maximum of $1 million. And a freight train partially derailed in South Carolina overnight. The fire department there says 38 train cars jumped the tracks. The cars were empty at the time, so there weren't any spills or injuries reported, and they're now working on cleaning up the mess and getting those tracks fixed. And Ohio just restricted bathroom access for transgender students. Governor Mike DeWine signing a bill into law today which basically bans students from using school bathrooms that don't align with their sex assigned at birth. Lawmakers in the state passed the bill earlier this month, and schools can still offer so-called single-use bathrooms. Ohio joins at least a dozen other states that have put similar laws on the books. And Hunter Biden is set to be sentenced twice next month. He's going to be sentenced in a Delaware courtroom on December 12th after being found guilty this summer on 3 gun charges. Then on December 16th, Biden will be sentenced here in Los Angeles after pleading guilty to 9 tax charges. Remember, the White House continues to say that President Biden will not pardon his son. And coming up, 3 words: giant chicken hotel. And we're not ruffling your feathers. This is a real place where you can actually book a stay. We're going to tell you where. But first, you got to see this. This is Oklahoma City police, where an officer was checking on a man lying on a bridge, but then saw the man almost roll off. That officer grabbed his sweatshirt just in time while a nearby jogger jumped in to help. They managed to pull that man to safety. It turns out the guy had just fallen asleep. I mean, talk about being in the right place at the right time. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. Let's take a quick look around the world. We're going to start in the Philippines with something you don't see every day: a chicken-shaped hotel. Now, this 6-story clucker just earned a Guinness World Record as the largest building shaped like a chicken, and it was built to honor the game fowl industry, which employs tens of thousands of people in the Philippines. And in Vietnam, a serious ultimatum is on the table. A real estate tycoon there has been told to repay an estimated $11 billion or face execution by lethal injection. The 68-year-old was recently convicted of embezzling the money, and her lawyers say they are now working with overseas investors to try to secure $400 million in a loan to help her avoid the death penalty. And in Australia, police there are looking at a police officer who has been found guilty of manslaughter for using a taser to shock a 95-year-old woman to death. Her assisted living facility called police after they say the woman, who suffered from symptoms of dementia, was acting erratically and holding a steak knife. The police officer is now facing 25 years in prison in that state. And in Pakistan, police there are continuing to crack down on protesters demanding the release of Imran Khan, the jailed ex-prime minister. More than 600 people were arrested overnight, and local reports say at least 4 people were shot and killed. Khan has been locked up since August on charges that his party claims are politically motivated. And heavy rain and plunging temperatures are affecting millions in Gaza. So many tents and other shelters right now are completely unlivable, and it comes as the humanitarian condition there continues to get worse. NBC's Hala Garani has more.
They ran from the bombs only for the sea to come for them. The storms rippling through the region, blowing away tents, soaking what few belongings the displaced of Gaza have left. Here in Khan Yunis, tarps became makeshift homes on the shifting sands of the beach. But the elements all but destroyed them. Children here pick canned food from the sand, floating in trash-filled water. The sea will kill us, says this woman. They live 17 to a tent here. With winter coming, the winds are stronger. Plastic trash bags flapping in the wind. The air getting colder. Nature unforgiving, even toward the most vulnerable in its path. I have no clothes for her. They're all wet, says Mother Ahlam Jamal, holding her 5-month-old daughter. In a football field in Gaza City turned camp for the displaced, dark clouds hang over the tents. Rain is in the forecast, and the residents trying to insulate their tents, doing what they can to keep the water out with old rolled-up rugs. A woman who's lost her husband and son cleans a coffee pot with the sand, with no warm clothing or sanitation or clean water. They say they're on the verge of freezing. Temperatures here can dip into frost overnights. Death would be better than this life, she says, as the bombs continue to fall.
Israel has damaged or destroyed 2/3 of the structures in Gaza, according to the UN. That means there are fewer and fewer shelters across the Strip. That means that as winter approaches, for many of the homeless of Gaza, there will be no place left to hide.
Hala Garani with some powerful reporting there. Hala, thank you. And coming up, we are taking a look here on the West Coast at the very fragile redwoods of the sea, the kelp forest right here off the coast of California. We're going to take you below the surface with a closer look in tonight's edition of Stay Wild. Hey, welcome back. And boy, do we have an underwater adventure for you. Here in California, we've got the redwood forests, the great Sierra Nevada, and all the wildlife that comes with those incredible ecosystems. But off the coast, we also have a very different kind of towering forest that's now been struggling for years. So we headed up to Monterey and went beneath the surface for a closer look. It is a beautiful morning. The sun is just coming up, and on a morning like this, it is hard to remember that there is an ecological disaster that's happening off the coast of California. But in order to show you how bad it's gotten, we're going to take you underneath down here to show you how good it's supposed to be. This is one of the best kelp forests here in California. Let's suit up.
But before we could get in the water in this protected cove right next to the Monterey Bay Aquarium,
just over there, family of sea otters. It's extremely rare to see them out here in the kelp.
we were surrounded by visitors.
This area is teeming with life.
About 3,600.
Once the coast was clear, we geared up and descended into an underwater world. One of the most protected natural kelp forests on the West Coast.
It feels so much like we're on a different planet. It's like being in a forest on land.
Dr. Josh Smith has been studying this fragile ecosystem for years.
Everywhere we look, fish, all the way up to the surface. So majestic down here.
The kelp can grow up to 100 feet tall.
Look at how tall this kelp is.
1.5 feet a day.
Here in California, everyone talks about the redwood forest, but right off the coast in some areas, you've got a forest that's like that underwater.
And suddenly, we were making new friends. Sea lions checking us out and trying to steal the show.
Absolutely incredible. Just incredible.
But here, the real stars of this ecosystem are the elusive sea otters. A recent study by the Monterey Bay Aquarium reviewing historical records found that those otters have been a cornerstone to protecting the environment.
Sea otters are really important predators in the ecosystem.
And in the Central Coast, they've been working overtime to try to protect the kelp forests from an invasion of purple sea urchins brought on by warming waters and a die-off of sea stars.
The sea otters are helping to keep those urchins under control so that they don't come storming out of the crevices and shift forest to barren.
They're like the game wardens of the forest.
Yeah, they do tend to keep sea urchin populations under control.
But those sea urchin feasting otters are endangered, hunted to almost extinction in the 1800s, and have all but disappeared from California's northern and southern coasts. And in their limited numbers, they can only do so much to stop the sea urchin infestation. We went under in a different spot to see just how much damage those purple urchins were causing.
Hey, it looks like we're in a desert, and you've got these purple polka dots all across the seafloor here. That's right. The reef is covered with purple sea urchins. They're these baseball-sized, tiny animals that like to eat kelp. And here, they've come out of the crevices and they're just storming around the reef looking for any kelp that they can find. But there's no kelp here. They've eaten it all.
The crisis reaching a boiling point 10 years ago when a major marine heat wave ravaged the kelp.
And they completely transformed the reef surface here to what we call a sea urchin barren. And you can just look here and see what the consequences are of that.
Coming up after seeing the kelp forest, it's kind of depressing to see the bear. How much of the kelp here in California has been lost?
Right here in Monterey Bay, we've lost about 70% or so of kelp forests. So the kelp has been substantially reduced in this area.
At Monterey Bay Aquarium,
Hi, otters.
they've been researching ways to tackle the problem for years, even taking us along on sea otter rehabilitation missions.
All right.
But to Executive Director Julie Packard, California's kelp forests are the true wonders of the sea.
When people come and see the exhibit, they see the kelp. What do you want them to take away from it?
I just want them to be bowled over by beauty and just the wonder of nature.
The aquarium's kelp forest display a centerpiece of the work that they do.
We share the planet with such incredible and intriguing life. It's up to us to make sure that we take action.
For now, preserved behind glass and protected in the bay, as biologists continue to search for solutions in the sea.
Incredible journey there. And before we go, it is time for the future of everything. We're talking about a baby planet, just a tender 3 million years old. It's the youngest transiting planet ever discovered so far. Why that discovery is so epic, coming up after the break. And it's tonight's feature of everything. The Milky Way just got a bit more crowded. There's a new planet in town that has taken the whole galaxy by storm, but don't run to your telescope just yet. It is hundreds of light years away, but this discovery is a huge deal because by cosmic standards, this is just a baby, just 3 million years young, making it the youngest transiting planet ever discovered. Let's bring in Paul Suter. He is an astrophysicist, NASA advisor, and the author of How to Die in Space, A Journey Through Dangerous Astrophysical Phenomena. Paul, transiting is the key word here. Break this down for us. Where is this planet, and what exactly is it?
All right, so this planet is about 10 to 20 times the mass of the sun, and mass of the Earth. And like you mentioned, it's sitting about 400 light years away, which is about 10 trillion kilometers. But in galactic terms, it's right next door. It's less than 0.5% of the entire width of the Milky Way galaxy. So it's a nearby neighbor. And what's amazing about this planet is it is only 3 million years old. This is the youngest planet we have ever observed. And so this is a gold mine of information about how planets like our own form.
So this one is 3 million years old. Like, haven't humans in some form been on planet Earth for like 2 million years? I mean, this is very, very young, right?
Yeah, that's a great way to contextualize just how young this is. Usually in astronomy, we're talking hundreds of millions of years or billions of years for processes to play out. And yet right here, we see a system with a newborn planet that it's contemporaneous with some species of humanity.
And how was this discovered? Like, how do they tell what age it is? I know they don't have tree rings. I guess like some planets have rings, but what is the age metric for planets?
So we discovered this using something called the transit method, which relies on an extremely lucky coincidence where if we stare at a star long enough, if the planet just happens to cross in front of the face of that star from our point of view, then the brightness of that star will dim just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. But we have an entire telescope, the Transiting Exoplanet Survey satellite TESS, that does exactly this. And we were able to spot this planet. And normally we don't get to see planets this young because in these kinds of young systems, there's so much gas and dust surrounding the star that it blocks our view of the planet. But there happens to be a very lucky gap or opening in the debris surrounding this star, so we get a clear shot to the planet itself. And as to the age, that all comes down to modeling and physics. We see stars and planetary systems in all sorts of different life cycles throughout the galaxy. And we can match this particular system to that map in the life cycle.
Oh, what a lucky shot. Paul, thank you so much for being here tonight. A crazy story. Thank you.
Thank you.
And right now, millions of Americans are getting their tables and their tummies ready for Thanksgiving dinner, and that includes one special American in space. On tonight's Future of Everything, NBC's Lester Holt checks in on astronaut Suni Williams as she gets ready for Thanksgiving on the International Space Station.
First of all, I want to give a hearty, happy Thanksgiving to you and your entire crew. Do you guys have plans? Will you do something akin to a traditional Thanksgiving meal?
Oh, yeah. It's really awesome. Our mission control, flight control teams gave us tomorrow off. So our plans are, as usual, get up and work out, do the turkey trot, and then watch a little Macy's Day Parade. And we have a bunch of food that we've packed away that is Thanksgiving-ish.
Thanksgiving will be day 176 of Suni Williams' mission to the International Space Station. Williams and fellow American Butch Wilmore were supposed to spend just over a week there after completing the first crewed test flight of Boeing's Starliner capsule. But after problems with the spacecraft, NASA determined it wasn't safe enough to bring the astronauts home.
How are you and Butch holding up in general? Does it take a toll on your body being in space that long?
You can see, part of being in space is working out. We work out a couple times, 2 hours a day, aerobic and anaerobic exercise. You can see Butch right here and Nick right over here. Our bodies change a little bit while we're up here, and that's why we have to work out so much. Some people call it space buff. Some people call it, fluid shift in your body. I think we look pretty good.
I know, of course, you have heard some of the social media, some of the conversations worrying about your health and weight. Is there any message to those folks?
Hey, we're feeling good, working out, eating right. It's just awesome, and we have a lot of fun up here, too. So, people are worried about us. Really, don't worry about us.
The plan is now for Williams and Wilmore to return to Earth in a SpaceX Dragon in February.
And, of course, the capsule you came up on was sent back without a crew. Did a part of you wish you could be on it as it made its return to Earth?
You betcha. It's a pretty unique opportunity to land a spacecraft for the first time. And part of our testing was to see how all of that undocking, deorbit burn, entry, and landing would have been.
Do you still have confidence in the technology that brought you there? And would you get on a Starliner again, tomorrow if you were asked?
Tomorrow might be a little bit too early. We learned a lot of lessons from our flight, but the spacecraft is really a solid spacecraft. It has so many capabilities. So maybe not tomorrow because we have to incorporate some of the lessons learned, but as soon as we see that we're on the right path and we've made some of the fixes to some of the issues that we had, absolutely.
Commander, as you know well, astronauts sometimes can wait years for a slot to get back into space. Do you look at this in some ways as a bit of a bonus?
That's an interesting question. I do, because I just love living up here. It's awesome, and we're doing some amazing cutting-edge science, and it's really great to be part of that.
What a cool interview. My favorite part is when Commander Suni is trying to put on the hat there, and her hair is just nope. Lester, incredible interview. Thank you. And finally, as we all get ready for Thanksgiving, we are catching up on a pair who accidentally met just before the holiday 8 years ago. And this year, their friendship was tested, but as NBC's Kate Snow is going to show us, it is as strong as ever.
Yeah, we got him.
Chances are you've heard what happened back in 2016 when Wanda Dench accidentally included a total stranger on a text telling her grandson what time to show up for Thanksgiving dinner. 17-year-old Jamal Hinton answering, "You're not my grandma. Can I still get a plate, though?"
I went over. We've been over every single year, and here we are today.
For 8 years.
Yes.
It's been more than a friendship.
I felt like almost ever since the first year, we were a family.
We spent hours, remember that, Jamal, in a restaurant, talking about everything under the sun. And there was no generation gap whatsoever.
Yeah.
And because of him, I see things a lot different.
They text, talk, and get together, lean on each other.
She's someone I can call, someone that I can go to with my problems. She'll help me sort them out. Someone I can go through to with my happiness and my pride and the good things I have going on in life, and she'll make me feel even better about them. She's amazing.
They've been through highs and lows. Wanda lost her husband during the pandemic, and earlier this year, she was diagnosed with breast cancer.
It's been a journey. It's been an awakening for me. I see some things different. I see what's more important now than what used to be. And now I appreciate every day.
Is this friendship one of the things you appreciate?
Oh, you better believe it. Jamal taught me so much about friendship.
Jamal and his girlfriend, Michaela, have supported Wanda through her treatment.
I was uplifted every day. I was always getting a text message. How you doing? What's up? What can we do for you?
And last month, when Jamal posted a special message from Wanda about her diagnosis, more than 8 million people saw it.
I feel like that's something that we could do, is just have everyone just send support and love.
They were so positive and so wonderful. And what I love the most is some of the messages came across as, hey, Wanda, thank you so much for your message. I'm going to go get my mammogram now, and I'm going to, because of you.
Wanda is feeling better, but this year, hosting Thanksgiving would be a bit too much. So for the first time, Jamal is planning to host Wanda. What's on the menu, Jamal?
So we're going to have someone make the turkey. We're going to have someone do a fried turkey, a smoked turkey. There's going to be, I think, 3 different turkeys, and then everyone's going to bring like their own like favorite side dish.
Love it.
Good food, good conversation. That is the best.
A holiday all about gratitude.
Jamal will always be a part of me, part of my family. Once in a while when I call him, I try to give him some like advice on something that he's, going through. And yet he gives me even more wise advice than I give him. So I'm very, very grateful that he's in my life.
I feel like if I've never met her, that I'd have like a piece of me missing in a weird way. I would have never known what that piece was, but I feel like that piece of me is filled. So I'm just happy that we got to meet and that we share this bond that we have now.
Gratitude for human connection. That is something that we will be grateful for this Thanksgiving. Kate Snow, thank you so much. That's going to do it for us tonight. I'm Gadi Schwartz. Have a safe and happy Thanksgiving tomorrow. But until then, stay tuned now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.